Listen up, Hollywood. Now this is how you make some money. Over the last few weeks, and honestly the last couple months, we've been noticing a trend when it comes to movies and how successful they can be if handled properly. Over the last, I have to say, handful of years now, we're seeing film struggle more and more at the box office. But what is the cause for that? What is the cause for that? Well, as we take a look at Box Office Mojo, we're going to talk about two movies here specifically. The first one I want to talk about is the Super Mario Brothers movie, which is breaking all sorts of records right now. It's on its way to making $1 billion, and it's not slowing down. So far, domestically, it's made $353 million. Worldwide, a total of 692,968 million. We're almost at the $700 million mark for this film, which it has far surpassed any other video game movie adaptation that has ever come before it. I think the highest before this was Detective Pikachu at like 450 million. So it has far, far surpassed that. But what has made this movie so good? What has caused the audience to want to go back to this movie and watch it over and over again? Because let's face it, while it is a good movie, it's not a great film. There's nothing overly spectacular about the story. It's a very simplistic movie. But there's another film also. John Wick Chapter 4, as it's starting to wind down, it's been out for a number of weeks now, it's starting to wind down to end its run theatrically. Domestically, it's only made $160 million, but a worldwide total of almost $350 million. Now, when you take a look at that, you're going to say, well, that's not a lot of money. Well, it actually is. For a film like this, that is a drastic jump. And if you take a look, let me see if I can find it here. If you take a look at the first John Wick film, which was a phenomenal movie in itself, you will see that it made $86 million worldwide. We're talking about tripling, nearly quadrupling the amount of money that the first one made to the fourth one. But what is it about the John Wick films that we keep seeing the box office jump up and up and up? Now, let's take a look at something like Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania just came out just a couple months ago. It finished its theatrical run, basically its full theatrical run, with a worldwide total of $474 million. Okay, that's not too bad, right? It's not too bad. But when you take a look at Ant-Man, the first one made $519 worldwide, $519 million worldwide, while the second one made $622 million. So why did it drop down? Why did it lose nearly $200 million in revenue? Let's go back to the Super Mario thing here. Like I said, this movie is not overly spectacular. It's a fun film. I enjoy it quite a bit, but the story isn't anything to write home about. Very simplistic, but the games are simplistic. There's not much that you can do with a story that is about rescuing a princess or rescuing your brother. There's not too much that you can do, especially when this is going for a younger audience, which they do spectacularly. But you want to know one of the big things that works for this film? Yes, it is the fact that it's not a comic book movie right now. But there's no agenda pushing. There's nothing in this film that is trying to push you to go woke or not go woke. There's nothing in here saying that it's bad to be gay or it's amazing to be gay. There's nothing in here about race wars. There's nothing in here about any of the current political bullshit that is going on in this world. Because movies are about entertainment. Movies are about watching something to take yourself out of the real world, to enjoy stories that you don't see every day. But what does that mean for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? Or what was the last one? Thor: Love and Thunder. Obviously, there weren't there's not a lot of woke politics for or against in the Marvel films. But it's just been shitty writing around everything. Now, let's not forget that Marvel has been trying to, in a way, push this whole woman empowerment, feminism thing. You get a little bit of that in Love and Thunder, obviously, with Natalie Portman's character. But, Ant-Man and the Wasp, not so much. So what is it? Obviously, we can't sit there and say that it's all this wokeness that is killing Hollywood. I do agree that, yes, if you go woke, you go broke. You take a look at a lot of these movies that have been coming out with this woke agenda. They tout putting in trans characters. They make a point to say, look at us being divisive, or not divisive. Look at us putting a more look on divisiveness in film and adding, whether it's black or Latina or what have you, Asian, it doesn't matter. But look what we're doing. That is a problem. Absolutely. But here's the thing. When you take a look at something like a Super Mario Brothers, when you take a look at something like a John Wick, the stories are simplistic. The stories are just driven to take you out of the real life and enjoy entertainment. It's not there to remind you of what's going on in the real world. They focus on fan service. When you go to a John Wick movie, you know what you're going to see. You're going to see Gung Fu, and you're going to see Keanu Reeves kick some ass. We know there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of gun shooting, a lot of fighting. That's what we want to see, and we want to see them up the bar each time. When we go to a Super Mario Brothers movie, we would hope to go and be fed some great nostalgia from showcasing the different little visual cues from older games, or even musical cues from older games. Fans love that stuff. That's what we want to see. That's what we go to the movies to experience. But when you talk about Marvel, you talk about some other films, they just don't do that. They try to push this idea of we have to be inclusive. They push this idea that they have to send a message of some sort in them, and they don't have to. You can be dumb fun, and we're starting to see that these movies that are doing that, the movies that are just having dumb fun, are being far more successful than those that push any type of agenda, try to send a message. Top Gun Maverick, another prime example. Over $1 billion theatrical run. They weren't pushing anything. Hell, they didn't even mention who the bad guys were in the film, because they didn't want to put any kind of possible thought into our heads that it's Russia, that it's Ukraine, that it's China, that it's whoever. Because it's not about pushing any type of agenda. It's about turning your brain off, and just enjoying a movie. And that's what Hollywood needs to get back to. They need to get back to the idea of just having fun in the movies. That's what they need to do. Let me know your thoughts, though. I want to know what you guys all think about this. It's really interesting to see this trend that's going on in Hollywood right now, where a lot of these bigger studios, these bigger films, they're just not being successful, or not finding success in these bigger films. Between the shoddy writing and the agenda and inclusiveness, the woke culture, those films are failing time and time again. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. With all that said, I'll talk at all of you later.